gents, turn up your sound system to the sound of Carlos Santana in the GMB Ghetto Blues from the refugee camp.
Maria, Maria, she remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem, she living a life just like a movie star. Maria, Maria, she fell in love in East LA to the sounds of the guitar, yeah. Played by Carlos Santana. Stop the looting, stop the shooting, pickpocketing on the corner. See, as the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer. See me and Maria on the corner, thinking of ways to make it better. In my mailbox is an eviction letter. Somebody just say, see you later. Yeah.
Chola, mama chola, ahora vengo, mama chola.
East Coast.
Ahora vengo, mama chola, mama chola. Ahora vengo,
Maria, Maria, she remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem, she living the life just like a movie star. Maria, Maria, she fell in love in East LA. I said it to the sounds of the guitar, yeah. Played by Carlos Santana. I said a lot of fella, don't notice the streets are getting hotter. There is no water to put out the fire. Mi contar esperanza. See me and Maria on the corner, looking at ways to make it better. Then I look up in the sky, hoping that there's a paradise.
North side,
ahora vengo, mama chola, mama chola. Ahora vengo, mama chola.
south side,
Ahora vengo, mama chola, mama chola. Ahora vengo, mama chola.
worldwide.
Ahora vengo, mama chola, mama chola. Ahora vengo, mama chola.
Open up your eyes.
Maria, you know you're my lover. When the wind blows, I can feel you through the weather. And even when we are apart, still feel like we're together. Yeah. She remind me of a West Side Story. I'm growing up in Spanish Harlem. She living the life just like a movie star. Maria, Maria. She fell in love in East LA to the sounds of love and time. Played by Carlos Santana.
Put 'em up, y'all. Carlos Santana with the refugee camp. Wyclef, Jerry Wonder, Mr. Santana, GMB. Yo, Carlos, man, you making that guitar cry.
4 minutes past the hour. It's another episode of Hashtag Truth Be Told. I got people playing games in South Carolina. I ain't gonna call their name out, trying to act like they still in the dark when we know they really not in the dark. But if they want to play like they the vampire, they can be the vampire. You know, it don't bother me. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building, 100 BLK, the Black Station, with my girl, Sister Jax in the building, the life strategist, the art therapist, the speaker, the author, and my brother from another mother doing his thing there in South Kakalaki via New York City, the open lines, own lines, and keeping it real with Al Sharpton, my brother like no other from WBLS in New York, 107.5, Brother Fatim. Good morning, family. Good morning. Welcome to this Work It Out Wednesday version of Hashtag Truth Be Told. How y'all doing?
We doing good. We doing good. I'm doing phenomenal. It's a beautiful day. I woke up. I feel myself. I feel my skin. I feel the air coming in through my lungs, and I'm blessed to be here another day and see my beautiful brothers. Look at Fatim's little face smiling over there. Look at Fatim.
Right, because I didn't get the memo. I didn't get the memo about the matching colors. I didn't get the matching colors memo.
Jax called me this morning. Well, I really said yesterday, since Joe complimented me on the black Jamaica shirt that I picked up from Jamaica. I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I'm wearing this Jamaica shirt, and that's been 2 years ago. Matter of fact, I was in Jamaica 2 years ago now. 2 years ago now. Today is what, the 7th, somewhere around there? You know the calendar, Joe. You got the calendar behind you.
Yeah, it's the 29th. Today the
29th. Oh, the 29th. So I was in Jamaica on the 29th because we was there for my two cousins' birthday 2 years ago, because last year we was in Cancun. So you mentioned the shirt yesterday, and thank you for that. And thank all those, a couple of people reached out to make sure I was good yesterday. Of course, my team, made sure I was good, and I appreciate that. So Jax got the memo because I said I was going to wear the yellow shirt, so she had to brighten herself up. Look at her. Look at her. She got her hair, so she's not going to be reading those scriptures all the day. We're going to apologize. She ain't reading those scriptures today, but she's going to have to go run and
Wrap another wrap.
So we're going to probably not deal with no scriptures, But Joe, I have a couple of news stories to jump into real quick.
Let's get it.
Yeah, so let's hit it real quick. So the 12-person jury, and I'm going to read this today. The 12-person jury in Donald Trump's hush money trial is set to begin deliberations after receiving instructions from Judge Juan Merchan. Defense attorney Todd Blanchett dedicated much of his 3-hour closing argument yesterday to discredit Michael Cohen, label him the MVP of lying and the GOAT, or the greatest liar of all time. Cohen's testimony is crucial as it supports the prosecution's claim that false records were created to cover up conspiracy aiding Trump's 2016 campaign. Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass countered the defense focus on Cohen, calling it a deflection. Steinglass emphasized that the case relies not just on Cohen, but also on documents and testimonies from other witnesses, including former magazine publisher David Pecker and Trump aide Hope Hicks. Trump faces 34 counts of falsifying business records linked to hush money payments to Stormy Daniels during the 2016 election. Then, in a very interesting story, in the Major League Baseball, MLB, incorporates Negro League statistics, which shakes up record books. So Josh Gibson, if you know, he played for the Homestead Grays. He was the catcher there, black man, played for the Negro League, has become Major League Baseball career leading hitter with a .372 batting average, surpassing Ty Cobb at .367 following the integration of the Negro League's records. Gibson, 466 average for the 1943 Homestead Grays, now holds the single season record ahead of Charlie Chino Smith at 451 in 1929 and Hugh Duffy's 440 in 1894. Gibson also emerged as the career leader in slugging percentage and OPS with a .718 and a 1.177 respectively, overtaking Babe Ruth, 690 slugging and 1.164 OPS. Gibson's remarkable 974 slugging percentage in 1937 set a new season record with Barry Bonds' previous best of 863 in 2001, dropping to 5th place. So Major League Baseball, in an effort to correct historical oversights, which we talked about, systemic racism in this country, has incorporated statistics from Negro Leagues after a 3-year research project. So that is something that is good there. Also, I'll stick with sports and then come back to one more thing. Monday night, on Memorial Day holiday night, the Boston Celtics won the NBA Eastern Conference Final by sweeping the Indiana Pacers by a score of 105-102. And they await the winner of the Western Conference Final between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, where Dallas leads the series 3-1. Dallas lost last night to the Timberwolves by the score of 105-100. Game number 5 is set for tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then one more thing. Last night on my podcast that I do in Darlington, South Carolina, we do it live in the studio, Tangy Tea of Life with Veronica, with Sister Veronica and Brother Victor. We focus on May being National Foster Care Awareness Month. Not to say, I mean, we're running out of days. I think we kind of booked up on guests, so we may not be able to cover this, but I just want to say that this month, like I just said, is observed National Foster Care Awareness Month. It aims to acknowledge and celebrate the contributions of foster parents, family members, volunteers, mentors, policymakers, child welfare professionals, and other community members who help children and youth in foster care find permanent homes and connections. And you know, our own creator of this show, Joe Dupree Anderson, this is very something close to his heart.
Right.
This month raises awareness about the critical need for foster care, the challenges faced by children and youth in the system, and the importance of providing supportive environments to help them thrive. Listen to these statistics, folks, and then I'll pass it back over to my team. Over 400,000 children are in foster care in the United States at any given time. The average age of children in foster care is around 8 years old. Approximately 50% of children in foster care are reunited with their families. About 25% are adopted, often by their foster parents or relatives, and the remaining children may age out of the system without a permanent family, facing a higher risk of homelessness, unemployment, and other challenges. So that's what I have on the table this morning. Joe, thank you. Sister Jax, thank you. But something we got to keep our audience updated and informed of what's going on in the news. Joe and Jax, back to you.
Indeed. It is 12 minutes past the hour. And family, good morning. I need to ring the bell. Also give a round of applause on this 29th day of May. If today is your special day, your anniversary, or your birthday, that ringing of the bell and the applause was for you. We celebrate this day with you. And thank you for keeping us informed with what is going on in the news. I have seen so much lately, and I know a lot of folks are tired of hearing about the trial is over. It's now in the hands of the jury, but it can go one of three ways. It can either be a hung jury, which some folks are leaning that way. It can be a guilty verdict, which some are leaning that way, or it could be an innocent verdict. Some are leaning that way. Either way, I will say this, and I'm not a lawyer, but I have been in enough courtrooms in the occupation that I do, that anytime the defense gives you 3 hours of a summation, that's not good. That's not good. See, your closing argument should be straight to the point. Bam, here you go. Y'all go back there. Y'all already know what time it is. But when you take 3 hours to try to put all the blame on somebody else, at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to wind up either in one of three areas: not guilty, or a hung jury.
Well, the prosecutors was 5 hours.
Well,
5 hours. They finished at 8 p.m. last night.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that say, Joe?
I mean, look, you know, it's going to be very interesting, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to only going to be one of three things, and whatever it is going to be appealed anyway. Let's just call it what it is. If it's guilty, it's going to be an appeals process. To be exact, there are some folks out there in media and analysts that says the best thing for Donald Trump's campaign is that they find him guilty. That would be the best thing for Donald Trump's campaign as he does a re-election bid to become president. Because if they find him guilty, then he can jump up with the propaganda machine and say, "I told you what they see what they've done to me.
Yeah.
Now they're coming after you.
Mhm.
See what they've done to me. Now they're coming after you." I'm just saying, family, this is a tricky trial. This is a tricky trial.
Mm, mm. That's right. Look, I love what you're saying, Joe and Fatine. I love the stories you share, Fatine. It showed how our people are phenomenal. You know, when you're talking about the sports and Babe Ruth and everyone, I mean, we can master any sport we get into. Actually, anything we get into, medicine, politics, you know, law, we could definitely master it. God definitely has blessed us. And I love what you mentioned about foster care, about the foster care system. I know a lot of ladies who are foster mothers. They're not married, actually. They have no children, and so they wanted to foster, you know, children. And it's a blessing because, yeah. And several of the ladies actually that I know ended up adopting the foster children. And every time they get a phone call, every time she would get a phone call that the mother of her previous 2 foster children had another baby, she would end up at that hospital taking that baby. And then going back the next year, 2 years later, when the mother's on drugs, having another baby, she'll take that baby too. So my one girlfriend, Kim, shout out Kim, she has 4 children, foster children that she has adopted now and has been raising them. I think the oldest is probably about 16 now, and the youngest is maybe about maybe 8 now. So I've seen these little babies grow up from the time they were small. So it's a beautiful thing, and it's so important. And unfortunately, a lot of people leave those children who are special needs, they leave them in foster care, and they don't want to adopt them. But my girlfriend and other people I know, they seek out those children as well because they desire love, they need love. And it's unfortunate when some of these kids stay in the system until 18 and age out. And then it's like, what's next? Where do I go? They have nobody. They sometimes have no skills. Many times they're brilliant kids. And yes, you do have some children in foster care who suffer with sexual deviance and a lot of other things because they've been molested and abused and tormented. I mean, I've taught parent education for years, and I had to actually teach parents who lost their children to the system parenting skills in order to potentially regain custody of their children. And even some of the stories that I've heard from some of those parents when I'm doing my therapy with them and classes with them, how, you know, the boyfriends, you know, they wake up in the middle of the night, and one lady said she goes into her daughter's room and the lady's boyfriend was in the bed with her daughter. And the daughter had her panties down. The man had pulled her panties down and the man's hand was right in between the little girl's legs. And this little girl's like 5 or 6 years old, you know? So these children suffer a lot, but they still need love. They still need support, and they still need brave people to take them on and raise them and love them as though they're their own children and not look at it as just a check. Yes, you do get a check. Yes, you do get more money if the child does have special needs or is classified or diagnosed. But it's not about that. It's really about taking care and giving chance to someone who truly, truly deserves it. And we talk about all the time, we talk about discipline. If we had more discipline as a people, there would not be so many children in foster care, because a lot of people are having, unprotected sex. They're, being promiscuous. They're making poor decisions, and there's outcomes to that. And sometimes those outcomes are an actual life that, good and doggone well, you're not capable of taking care of. So you just throw it to the system. And many times those children just sit there. So shout out to all those foster parents that take on the responsibility of raising someone else's child and making them their own. So kudos and great job for bringing that up, Brother Fatine.
And thank you on that. And let me just say this. I could have went so many different directions on this. I'm going to go a different direction. I did not mention this last night, but I'll go there. A lot of folks that don't believe in abortion, that's fine. That's cool. That's it. But I want to see you advocate for the parents, the guardians that are raising children, that are having challenges, that they need the resources, and those that are in foster care or those that are trying to adopt kids. I want you all out there that don't believe in abortion, then to advocate about the resources that some of the folks need out there. Yeah, it is a parental responsibility, but everybody that has a child, it may not be able to take care of that child, and we don't ask them. Because when we hear a child is killed or flushed down the toilet or tried to be flushed down the toilet, we cringe. And, I know in New York City, I remember when they created the law, you could just put a child, if you didn't want that child, on a police station, a fire station, or the hospital and wouldn't be charged because they didn't want you to hurt the child. But the same way you say and stand up against the abortion, that's fine. Not here to debate that. But what I am saying, if you're going to advocate for life, if you're going to be pro-life versus pro-choice, then I want to see you advocate for the resources out here that I don't see those that are on the Republican side. I hate to go political, but I don't see, because I see the legislation that they continue to cut and challenge when there's more resources that need to go into foster care and other resources that help those that are young and going through challenges.
And you're more than correct. Me being a product of that system, I am a product of the foster care adoption system. And yes, there needs to be more resources. And yes, not to be political and not to throw daggers or shoot shots at anybody, but if you're going to be pro-life, anti-abortion, be pro-life when it comes down to the death penalty. Come on, if you're gonna be pro-life, anti-abortion, be pro-life when it comes down to the death penalty. That's going to be another subject for another day. But on the abortion tip, listen, family, definitely, as me being a product of being in the system, being an adopted child, that system needs a lot of resources. We need to elect the right individuals who understands how to put together the correct policies and funding. Not only policies, but funding. It's one thing to say you're going to do a thing. It's another thing to establish the funding to fund that thing. And right now, that's the biggest political, what do I want to call it? Shell game they got. They open up a shell and say, look, this is what we're going to do, but they don't have any funding for it. So then you're sitting out there going, oh, they promised us that we're going to do this, that, these, and those. And you vote for them because it sounds good. The propaganda machine and the marketing sounds good. And you're like, yay, they're going to do this. But there's no money backing what they said. And because there's no money, once they get in office, all of a sudden that shell disappears. And you hear, oh, we couldn't do it. So-and-so did this. They get very political then. Because once again, it's a difference between a promise given and a promise fulfilled. And we got to pay attention with that when it comes to politics. Sister Jackson.
Wait, well, let me just add something in real quick.
Go ahead,
Douglas Guidry says, how would you like if you had been aborted, right? So KC, your cuz, Jax, comes back to say, Douglas Guidry, how would I know? And that's right. How would you know if you were damn aborted? Why do you ask this dumb question? So I'm going to cause some controversy, Jax. So I'm going to ask KC to be my girlfriend on Truth Be Told on the podcast.
Okay.
Only that the reason why I didn't ask her to be my wife, because she may not be my only girlfriend. I may ask somebody else to be my girlfriend. I don't want to have to divorce her when we disagree. I'm being transparent. So I'm just putting it out there, just like Casey, she's an atheist, you know what I'm saying? So she put it out there transparent. So Casey, will you be my girlfriend? But I'm just letting you know, you may not be my only girlfriend on Truth Be Told. I'm just being honest.
And you might not be her only boyfriend. So
and I'm ringing the bell and I'm with it. I like it. I don't want to deal with her 24/7, all the day. No, every day. No.
King, put yes or no in the chat, King.
Lord.
Go ahead, Sister Jax. I cut you off.
That's crazy. No, but but great conversation. I mean, I just want people to really go out and try to support other children. And even if they're not in the foster care system, if you know they're dealing with something, even I share with you guys, I believe last week how my husband, got a call. He was, good friends with this young man growing up. He was a little younger than him, but they were still friends of, the family. But the young man is now in prison for murdering his girlfriend. And now the children are a disaster. Like all the kids are out of control. And I mentioned last week how the 10-year-old little boy destroyed his mother's retina and gave her black eyes, actually gave his younger brother, who's 8 years old, gave him black eyes, and he's special needs. And the little sister is like 5 or 6 years old. And when my husband was at the house trying to talk to them and discipline them and encourage them, he has on his gun, and everything. And the little girl still kept stomping on his boots and stepping on his feet. And the kids are just out of control. So literally my husband left the house about 5 o'clock this morning. He doesn't have to be to work until 8. but he left at 5 to go 30 minutes away to wait for the mother to get off of work at 6:30 in the morning, and slept in his car to then go inside because the mom called again last night and said the little boy is cursing everybody out again. 10 years old and angry. So this morning, right before the show, my husband calls me. He has a little boy in the car. My husband took him down to the police station again. And, I had to, do what I can do to encourage the kid, tell him I love him and, be a good boy. And there's greatness within him. And what does he say initially? What does he want to be when he grows up? I want to play football. I said, yeah, you and about 1 million other doggone Black and brown kids in America want to play football. But guess what? It's only a few positions for you to play, for that people can actually get a job doing that. So you need to, you can make it, but you got to be a good boy. You have to work hard. You have to be consistent. You have to have discipline, So what else is it that you love? So it takes a whole village to raise and help out. This dad is not coming home anytime soon. And this mom is struggling with this young man. So foster kids absolutely help out, but also help out the other children in the community that are really struggling. And the kids are hurt and angry. Daddy's never coming home for the most part until they're grown as hell, so we got to help out. Takes a village.
Look, in my spirit, it just hit me. We talk so many times about social influencers. We need more social encouragers, those who encourage our Black and brown babies to be better, do better, have more, seek more, no matter what level it is. We need more encouragers. We talk about influencers, but we need more encouragers. And thank you, Jax, for being a person that 24/7, 365 encourages the youth to do better, be better, have more, and all that good stuff. I got to ring the bell for you. Got to ring the bell for you. Speaking of which, in the green room, I know at 8:30, 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time, we've got a guest in talking about politics and talking about your vote is your voice and your vote matters. Look, Jax, go ahead and introduce who we got in the green room where we can bring her on in and get some great conversation going on, because election time is up on us, family. Election time is up on us. Sister Jax?
That's right. Yes, we have a phenomenal, beautiful, intelligent, articulate young lady in the green room. And I would like to bring forth, her name is Shayna Milius. She's a leader, activist, and veteran. So I'm going to read her bio. Shayna Milius is a leader, activist, and community organizer who knows what it feels like to fight against long odds. She has dedicated her life and work to the community. For the last 3 years, Shayna has served as a congressional staffer for the late Congressman Donald Payne Jr. In this role, she worked on legislative and constituent issues where she provided leadership on topics that range from SBA loans to passport and visa approvals. In addition to working with grassroots groups, prior to joining Congressman Payne's staff, she served as an aide to New York Congresswoman Yvette D. Clarke. Alongside her husband, Brett, Shayna founded Preserve Our Legacy, Inc. in 2007, a New Jersey nonprofit dedicated to raising awareness on the disparity that exists for people of color who are in need of bone marrow or cord blood transplants. Ever the fighter, Shayna worked with the late Congressman Donald Payne Jr., the late Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, and Senator Teresa Ruiz to successfully pass Jaden's Law in August of 2010. Under the new law, an online brochure will be made publicly available to educate residents about bone marrow and peripheral blood stem cell donations and how to register as a donor. Shayna's leadership on bone marrow can be traced back to her work in New York City in 2006 as a publicist for Rucker Park. This is where she first met Jaden Hilton and began her journey to fight for bone marrow and cord blood. In 2010, Shayna launched the POL cord blood program. In 2012, expanded and negotiated a contract for the POL cord blood program at 10 additional New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, which covers 11 public hospitals. A true champion of social equity, Shayna has been on the front lines fighting for social justice reform, including issues like prisoner reentry reform and access to cannabis licenses. She and her husband founded March for Equity, an organization committed to raising awareness about the lack of diversity and social equity in the cannabis industry. Prior to her work in the public sector, Shayna spent 22 years in the music business, assisting artists and labels, including iconic record label, The Ink Records, formerly known as Murder Inc. Shayna proudly served her country as a U.S. Army reservist from 1992 to 2000. Shayna holds a BA from Temple University, an MA from Liberty University, and an MBA from Metropolitan College of New York. She is also currently completing her doctorate at Liberty University. She is married to Brett Milius, and they have 2 dogs, Benji and King. Go ahead, Miss Shayna. Welcome, my sister. Take it off of mute, sis.
Yeah, take it off mute. You all
Thank
on
you,
mute.
thank you, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I was enjoying you guys' show. I'm going to tune in now for sure.
Yeah, we get it in over here, Shayna. We
Yeah,
have fun.
I see.
We have fun. We joke. We laugh. Look, Shayna, we cry. I mean, sometimes the ugly cry. We got to get off of air. We
Oh,
go
wow.
through hurricanes, tornadoes, storms, earthquakes, lights out, everything.
Powers out, drinking bleach and all kind of stuff over here.
Never know what might happen on hashtag truth be told. Truth be told.
Shayna, they cracking on me. I drank Fabuloso a couple weeks ago. So, yeah.
Oh my
I'll tell
gosh.
you, yes, I'll
Oh
tell
my
you
gosh.
off air. I'll
Oh
tell
my
you off
gosh.
air. So congratulations on your run, Shayna.
Thank
If
you.
Yes.
Thank
If you could tell us a little bit more about it, and phenomenal kudos to you. I know you're about to get that doctorate any day now. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you do phenomenal work in the community. I know because I've seen you do it.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank
this young lady is on the front line. She's out there. She's doing it. She's in Brick City. She's everywhere making things happen. So we truly appreciate you. So tell us a little bit more about your run and about the late, great Donald Payne. How did that connection come about?
Well, again, thank you guys for having me on the show. As I mentioned, I will be tuning in. But basically, I met actually the congressman when he was a city council member back in 2007. And my husband and I came to Newark basically because Jaden needed a bone marrow transplant. And unfortunately, he died. And we came to try to figure out what we need to do. So we actually were attending.
Ooh. She froze. Hopefully we can get her back. Hopefully
We don't want your candidacy to do that now. We don't want that to happen. So
I thought it was me for a second. I had to move side to side to make sure it wasn't me.
right.
I was like,
we hope that wasn't a
at
mistake.
least she still. I hope she got her power.
Okay,
Exactly.
yeah. You never know what could happen around here. You know, you
That's
never
right.
know what
Yep,
could
it's
happen.
okay.
So
Yep, she'll be back.
send her a message and let her know that she actually froze up on us bad. So hold it. Wait a minute. She's back.
I'm back.
I'm bringing her back.
I'm back.
There she go.
I'm
You're back.
talking.
You're back. You're
Welcome to
back.
the
We
family.
brought you back.
Sorry.
We brought
All right.
you back.
So, yes, I apologize. I don't know what happened, but even still, I met the congressman when he was a city council member. And he basically, we met him in 2007 when we came to New Jersey to try to figure out how we could get people to register as bone marrow donors. And at the time, and as historically, as you guys are aware, we as Blacks and Latinos, and we have an issue with medical trust, it's mistrust factors all throughout the medical industry, and it's been since we came from Africa, pretty much. But the main thing is that we noticed that people weren't registering as bone marrow donors, and so we wanted to try to do something. And we were introduced to the congressman when he was a council member, and he came on board with us. And ultimately, he helped us find individuals that could sponsor our bill. And ironically, in regards to us getting a bill passed, we actually came to Metropolitan Baptist Church, and Reverend Jesse Jackson was there. And we had on these shirts saying "Got stem cells," and he basically was asking, "What does that mean? What is that?" And basically, we were saying, Jaden, he was 2 years old when he was diagnosed, but he died. And he said, "You guys need to do something. You need to create a legislation." And so that's what we did. And ultimately, the congressman introduced us to the late Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. She was an assemblywoman at the time. And Teresa Ruiz, Senator Ruiz, she was actually this was like one of her first bills when she first entered the Senate. And so we got the bill passed. And basically what I noticed, as you mentioned, I graduated from Temple. I have a BA in anthropology and African-American studies. I understood what stem cells were, but I knew that people weren't getting it. And so the main thing especially is education. When you provide them with something, individuals, any individual with anything, they basically can understand it, and then they would increase. And so when we initially started in 2007, the National Registry was at 4%. And then it increased after Jayden's Law to 8% available on the National Registry. And so that's pretty much how I met the congressman. And, you know, we just stayed in touch. We've done I've done various events in Newark with him, including we did a celebrity basketball game, a few of them, as well as a golf event, you know, to try to increase awareness.
Beautiful. Thank you. So what leads you to the point that you're at today? What made you say, you know what, I want to run for office?
So when he passed away, it was a shock to all of us, pretty much. But the main thing was, you know, it was just something that leaped up in me and said, you know, you need to run for this seat because there's still work to do in the district. And so ultimately, here I am.
Absolutely. So what do you stand for? If you want to tell our viewers, why should we vote for Shana McNileas?
Well, a couple things. One is, you know, when I'm elected, because I'm speaking it into existence,
that's right.
it will be back to business. There will be no learning curve. Out of all of the contenders for this seat, I'm the only one that has federal experience. I'm the only one that has a bill that passed in the state of New Jersey. And I'm the only one, ironically, that worked in the music industry as well. So, you know, with relationships, I think the main thing is I fight for the people. I have hundreds of people that I've helped throughout my year. You know, we've helped as an office, but me particularly, you know, I'm extremely passionate. And I, you know, love fighting for the underdog pretty much, you know, as well as healthcare. Healthcare is very important, especially for the, you know, Blacks and Latinos and Asians, you know, per se, but it's extremely important, as well as the economy, you know, building up, giving people jobs, individuals that are, we call them entering back into society. You know, a lot of them don't have options, you know, and so, you know, we, you know, as an office can help them, you know, get back and, you know, pass federal legislation to kind of open it up. You know, as you see, marijuana is now legal, but again, you know, my husband and I started March for Equity because, you know, although, you know, they're stating that they are trying to pay back, you know, not necessarily pay back, but more so open up the opportunity because of what the war on drugs has done to the community. There's still limitations and there's still hurdles that these individuals have to go through. So that's what I'm here to fight for, these individuals, to make sure, you know, that they get their fair share.
Absolutely wonderful. Go ahead, Brother Fatim.
And it's interesting, you know, and Sister Shana, first of all, congratulations on your run.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Last week, I received a call because I'm knee deep in New York and New Jersey politics by hosting the Open Line show on WBLS. And, you know, for me, for Congressman, the late Congressman Donald Payne Jr., before him, I met his father when he was a congressman. And I met him through my former host, Bob Slade, James Mtume, and attorney Bob Pickett. Of course, James Mtume, very close to the politics, and attorney Bob Pickett to the politics of New Jersey, and Congressman Donald Payne coming into our studio, and then his passing, and then of course his son following in his footsteps, Donald Payne Jr. And I was just shocked, you know, just shocked of his death. And you've worked with so many interesting people that are great people. I've known Congress member Yvette Clarke when she was a council member, where before her mother, Una Clarke, was a council member. I worked close with them on sickle cell disease, which I'm going to circle back about that on stem cells and the cord blood situation. But you talk about New Jersey, late New Jersey Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. So I got a chance to work with her when she was running with New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. She came in the studio. We just had such a great relationship. And then you check one thing off my list, because I do have you down as the only candidate to pass a bill, you know, and have that federal experience. But this is a tough race because it's about, as of of last week for me. I don't know, it was 9 candidates there. It's 9 candidates. And I know I have to reach out, and I'm glad that Sister Jax brought you on here, because now I have to give you a voice. Someone else reached out, and I will definitely give a voice on Open Line WBLS. And people must need to know, even though this is an election year, this is a special election because of the passing of Congressman Donald Payne Jr. there. I also want to talk and commend you, because this is so important about this bill that you passed about stem cells in cord blood. And for me, being a sickle cell advocate, my wife having sickle cell and her passing last year, this is a very effective way of treating sickle cell through this situation here. So I just want to give you kudos for that. Your vision, 9 candidates there, and even though you talked about you passed the bill, why do you feel that you are the best choice to be to step into that congressional seat to represent that district? Why do you feel, and even though you, like you said, you passed the bill and this, and you have the music experience, but from a political field, and there's 9 candidates, why do you feel that you're the best candidate?
Well, a couple reasons. Well, actually, it's a total of 11 candidates.
That's why I thought it might have grown. Okay.
But in regards to me, as I mentioned, I'm ready on day one. It's like back to business. I literally was in the office, before I had to resign, but I was in the office. So none of the candidates will know what to do. And generally it's going to take about a 2 to 3 term learning curve for them to understand the processes that take effect in the federal government. And so with me, it's just more so back to business. I'm ready on day one. I think the main thing, a lot of people in the community have met me, and I've helped a lot of people in the community. I know who to contact if someone they need a passport, if someone is stuck in another country. I know exactly who to contact because of relationships that I've built while working for Congressman Payne. So, I just think that the main thing, I know that the fact that if any issue that arises, a federal issue, I'm actually the one that they can depend on and make sure that it'll go through. There won't be a learning curve, or there won't be a delay into any requests that they may have.
Absolutely. And it just makes the most logical sense. I mean, you have the skill set, you've done the work, you have the knowledge, the wisdom, the business acumen, like you have it all. So why go anywhere else? Like, they should put you in tomorrow, and continue on, because guess what? Go ahead.
From your mouth to God's ears.
That's right. That's right. It just makes the most logical sense, because like you said, it can take people, several terms to kind of get it right and figure it out and, get their feet wet. And, they have past relationships that maybe they, dampered that could impact, the role that they're currently about to, potentially overtake. But you just make the most sense. Like I said, you have the skills, you have the knowledge, you have the insight, you have the foresight. Go ahead, Joe.
So I see some questions being asked in the chat, and I want to place some things for. First of all, thank you for offering yourself up for service. Thank you for your service in this military. Me serving 28 years in the military. I honor you by saying thank you for your service. And thank you for now your continued service, giving yourself back to the community. Because a lot of folks don't know, running for anything and being in politics is not easy. I have been appointed, was a former appointed official of a municipality. And it's hard when you have to serve the people, because you have to serve all the people. So that's where I'm kind of going. Somebody brought up in the comments, since you're running for office and you may get elected, let's say that the former president gets elected or some Republicans get elected. Are you able to work across the aisle and work in conjunction for the greater good of your community with other parties, with other people, to bring what is best for your congressional district to pass? Are you able to work across the aisle and be bipartisan, as they say?
Yes, just a little, and thank you for your service as well. But also, I actually played basketball in high school and in college, and more is about team playing. It being a team player. And that's what it's about in Washington. The main thing is that we're in Congress to help the people, to actually support them. And so there won't be any personal grudges or anything like that. The main thing is to make sure that I'm fighting for New Jersey's 10th congressional district and getting all the funding and everything that we need.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I want to present, and and Sister Jax knows me, and Sister Shana. I'm not the one to be, I don't attack anyone, but I know that this is not an easy job that you're going through, and I do know some of the politics in that area, and I don't want to shy away, and we have to see, how do you handle some of the tough questions? So I know that the Baraka administration, Mayor Baraka may be backing someone else out there. And that's cool. That's how politics work out there. Just listening to you, I haven't spoken to no other candidate out there as of yet. I like what you bring to the table. I like the experience. I like the people you work with. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. You work with the late Congressman Donald Payne Jr. You work with the late New Jersey Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. These are tremendous people. It's people that when they walked in Newark, they got the respect because of the work they've done. And I don't take that lightly on you working with those individuals, as well as Sister Yvette Clarke, because Sister Yvette Clarke is no joke. She's not no joke. She's part of the progressive party in the Democratic wing of the House there. But who have endorsed you? Who have you endorsed? Who have endorsed you? And who do you, again, I don't want to say you have to put out names, because that's not fair for you to put out names, but out of the 11 folks, there are going to be some top challenges out there. And I feel that you're definitely going to be in the top because of your experience and where your knowledge is out there. But who's some of the organizations or people that have come behind you and have endorsed you to push you forward, to say that you should be the next congressional member representing your district?
Well, at this point, I haven't received an endorsement as of yet. However, because, as you mentioned, the other candidates have endorsements, but I have several meetings that are coming up in regards to endorsements. And for me, it's great to have an endorsement, but it's about the work and the people. And it doesn't matter who endorses you. If you can't do the job, or if you don't have the experience or the skills like that I do, it doesn't really, at this point, it doesn't really matter. But again, I will be getting endorsements, but the main thing is I'm ready to get back to work. I have several constituents that I've been working on issues, and I just want to help them, get their just due in regards to what they're trying to achieve.
How do you get your message out? This is like I said, this was unforeseen. Now this is a special election. You don't have a chance to raise money to put a lot of ads and this, that, and out. How do you get your message out? I know you use this platform. I'm telling you now, I'll definitely make the commitment to get you on in the tri-state area on WBLS to talk about your candidacy here. That's my commitment here. But how else do you get this message out in a short term and let folks know that this special election, I believe is it June 10th? I'm not sure. Is it around
July 16th?
July 16th. So between now and July 16th, how do you get your message out to resonate with the people, for people to know who you are in this short period of time?
Well, several ways. One, word of mouth. Like this show is one. I'm actually going to be doing a media run over the next few weeks. As Jackie mentioned, I was a publicist, so I have a lot of media relationships. And in addition to meeting the people, hitting the streets, and that's pretty much what I've been doing these last few weeks, and will continue to do even after I'm elected.
Yes. Yeah. And like she said, meeting the people and going to the streets. I've been in the streets with her. I've been in the streets with her and seen her for 211 Community Impact, Dupre Kelly's nonprofit organization here in Newark. I've seen, her support the toy drive, giving Oh my gosh, Shayna, you and your husband, you guys bring would preserve our legacy. Like, so many toys, and your other, business partner. I've seen you out there, for Thanksgiving, giving out turkeys and helping out and speaking with the community, 10 toes down, boots on the ground. You are there consistently, first one there, last one to leave. And she greets everyone with a smile, and she's very kind and warm and helpful, but she still knows her stuff and she still doesn't play, so, but you used to play ball. I like the fact you said you used to play ball, Shayna.
Yes.
I used to play ball too. So
Yes.
we're going to have a game one day. One day, once you get in Washington, I'm going to meet you in DC, and we're going to go somewhere to a court and have some fun to play some ball.
All right, well.
No, shut up.
For sure. And
Yeah, I
ironically,
heard it like Shayna and Jack. Listen, Shayna, here's what I want to say. I feel your heart. I see that you have the heart of the people. With 11 candidates running for this 10th congressional seat in New Jersey, it's probably going to be it will be a runoff. There's no doubt there's going to be a runoff. I would say just continue to ask the folks to vote for you. He that is in those streets and he that has the heart of the people will be the one that will come forth the victor. And listening to Sister Jax, it seems to be that you're heavily involved in the community, and you're trying to do everything you can to bring about the change that you want to see, and that you are the only person running for this seat that actually has brought forth a bill that has passed, shows a great deal. So, all I can say is I can't tell folks who to vote for, but I will tell you this: get engaged, get involved, get registered, and go vote. And with that being said, tell me more about your vision. Should you be blessed to get this 10th congressional seat in New Jersey as the winner in Congress, what is your vision for the congressional district, for the people, and how do you move forward?
Thank you. Great question. So my vision also includes passing Jayden's Law federally. As the gentleman was saying in regards to his wife, and I'm so sorry you lost your wife, there's hundreds and thousands of people that don't know what resources are available for them. And so one part would be getting Jayden's Law passed, where we could talk and educate pregnant mothers about their options with their baby's cord blood, as well as educating, individuals about treatment options that are available through a cord blood transplant. It's not just sickle cell anemia, it's about 80 plus diseases. But the goal is to try to get these programs in hospitals, in urban communities where they're needed. My next job would be healthcare, as well as making sure everyone has healthcare. People that are on insulin, making sure that the Inflation Reduction Act is maintained and continued with the $35 that they're paying for insulin, but also implementing something with health. Because I know Jackie is a health connoisseur, but more so resources for like food trucks and farms and stuff like that, where people can get fresh vegetables and so forth in regards to their diet and eating. Because the sodas and the sugars aren't really good. And then also social equitable opportunities. And that's in regards to real estate, education, healthcare, as well as, economy, and the main thing is in regards to helping people, small business, because in the office, I was the small business rep. And so we've helped a lot of businesses that are in the district get certified. People don't really realize how important that is to get certified. Correct. Me, being on the federal level and once I'm elected, the main thing was to help people, especially Black and brown people, get bids, learn how to get bids, learn how to apply for businesses, loans, or not necessarily loans, but more so expanding their business, being educated, and the thing is that the federal government wants to connect with people, but it's just they don't know the process. So the main thing is to educate them on the process, as well as our returning citizens, helping them. A lot of them, when they come out and they go to halfway houses, they don't even know how to get their social security card, the birth certificate, stuff like that. We will implement programs or support the state and local government in regards to programs for them. And there's
I heard
but
I heard a lot there, so I'm going to turn it back over to the team. But I heard you talking about reentry, recidivism. See, I'm in this politics game. I know what you're talking. That's beautiful. that most folks don't understand, because Black and brown folks are incarcerated at a high rate. What do we do once you get out of incarceration? What do we do while you're in incarceration to make it that you don't get back incarcerated again? Girl, I got to ring the bell for you on that one. And that you are focusing on your constituents and your community. See, I was listening closely and I was waiting to hear it, and you didn't say it. So now I got to give you a round of applause, because you didn't say, you know what, in Congress, we deal a lot with funding, especially with these foreign wars and everything. You didn't even go down that rabbit hole. You said, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for my constituents that are in the 10th Congressional District of New Jersey. Charity starts at home, then spreads abroad. And I have to ring the bell for you for not even saying nothing but what you would do for your constituent and what you would first do to clean up your house and the home there in New Jersey. And for that, you get another round of applause. And I turn it back over to my
let me piggyback off of that real quick. Because I think that when we brought on New York politician Charles Barron, and Charles Barron broke it down. He broke it down when he was a council member. He broke it down when he was assembly member. And of course, his wife and him flip-flop seats, out there. And he talked about how he did it in his district. And I think that folks have to understand, we talk about on this show, and a lot of people in the comments want to say, well, our Black political figures don't do A, B, and C. When we vote them in office, we don't hear from them. But a lot of times you got to realize, once you vote them in office and they win, you have to hold them accountable. What Sister Shana just said, you have to know the political game. She gets in office, right? Then we go to the election, the federal election this year. And then all of a sudden, the Republicans control the House. Now it's back and forth. That doesn't mean that she's not doing the job. Remember, she's trying to get the funding, because she has to still try to get funding and programs and certified businesses, as she just said. But y'all have to understand the politics, because a lot of times you want to blame good politicians that are in office, and then you allow the propaganda machine. You allow the propaganda machine to take control, like Congressman Jamal Bowman. He stands 10 toes down on a lot of things that we talk about in our community, that we talked about in the past that we want. You understand? But when the propaganda machine goes out there and say, this person's against this and against that, if you don't know the game, you start to believe what they're saying. See, that's what I'm saying. You have to understand the game and understand what these politicians are up against when they get elected to office, and the fight that they have in the House. She's going into the House where right now, you understand, where we don't control the House. And there's a lot of legislation, and we hope that the Democrats can control the House or gain control of the House and hold on to the presidency and hold on to the Senate, so we can get some of these legislations and these bills passed. But the point I want to say to Sister Shana, that what she said, when I piggyback off of what Joe said, and sorry to give a sermon here, but how many times do we get politicians to come on our show to talk about the things that they're going to do for our community? But then some of you in the chat, I'm sorry, Sister Shana, to do this, but this is not to you. It's to those folks out there that want to vote for people that don't talk to our community, that don't come in there. Yes, do I have some issues with the Biden administration dealing with how much funding going to Ukraine? Do I have a problem with the Israel-Palestinian war? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But at the end of the day, I look at the person that's running against him, and those that or support that, they don't come to us. They don't talk to us. But then they want to worry in the chat to say, well, or will you be willing to work with that person? Well, I understand working together because we're trying to do this better. But right now, our government is polarized. It is polarized at the end of the day. And if people are not going to come to us, I'm not going to sit there and listen to you, because you're not talking to us, because you don't want our vote. You don't think you need our vote. So why would I talk to you when you don't give a damn about us? That's why Sister Shana came on here to talk about what she's doing. I don't know the sister, but I love what she's about. And I love what she represents. And she comes on here talking about the things that we consistently talk about. Wake up, people. Wake up. Wake up. That's all I have to say. You want to comment on that, Sister Shayna? But I have to give that, and I have to get on those folks in the chat that want to say, and you have a right to vote for who you want to, but I'm not voting for not one damn person that is not going to talk to our community about our concerns and how you're going to do this, but you're about to tear down everything that we fought for doing civil rights and got through in that legislation. I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
Your thoughts, Sister Shayna, on what I said?
I totally agree with you. I think, a lot of times, people don't, propaganda is huge. The media, they have good media and they have bad media, just like in life. But the main thing is that fighting for the people. I think the main thing is, and everyone that knows me, people that know me, they know me in the music industry. I'm called Mac, right? And Mac is because, I not necessarily demand respect, but more so I fight for what I think is right. And I'm passionate about, certain things, especially the underdogs. And we as Black folks are the underdog. And that's the reality, and I think the main thing is to make sure that we as individuals get our fair share. And that's ultimately what I'm going to be fighting for.
That's right. That's beautiful, Shayna. Now, if you can dial back, I always like to talk to people and find out how did they become who they are, right? So if you could take us back to your childhood, who is little Shayna, which led you to who you are, big Shayna today?
Thank you. So ironically, I was raised by my maternal grandfather. And he was a lot, obviously he was a lot older than me, but he was older, but he instilled in me from the time I was 2-3 years old that, you can do anything you put your mind to. And ironically, my father was around, my mother, was around, but my grandfather, I was around him all the time. And he educated me on so many things. And even to the point of believing in yourself. And, if you call my voicemail, the main thing that I say, believe to achieve. And that's the reality. And, God is also, I just love God with everything. And, God is with me in this race, and I've never run for any office or anything, but I know God got me, and I think the main thing is that staying focused and more so, me being who I am, that's pretty much it. And basketball, but the main thing is being competitive. I'm super competitive as well. And I think being an athlete, and Jackie, that is too, and the funny part is that when I was about 5 or 7 or something like that, my father and my uncle were playing basketball. And I said, Daddy, I want to play. And, he said, you're too little. And so from that point on, I was determined, and I became an all-state basketball player in North Carolina. Wow. So in addition to various scholarships to go to different schools, but my mother, of course, didn't want me. She limited where I was going. But even still, I think, that has a benefit for my constituents.
Amen. Amen. And Shayna, they were in the chat cracking about us playing basketball. So talking about icy hot and stuff. So I said, no, we might need a paramedic on set. So maybe we'll just have to catch a game. We're going to see Kyrie or somebody to catch a game. So that's great. Yes. Thanks for sharing that and giving us a little peek, inside, because it's always fascinating, because people with so much ambition and so many accomplishments, many times it still is rooted in some form of trauma in the past. So that makes us to become even that much more resilient and capable and able to connect so much intrinsically, with the people that we serve. So I love hearing a bit about your past. And it's important for people just to hear, to get an idea, because sometimes people think people are born with a silver spoon in their mouths and they just came out to do whatever, and they really don't care. But you truly, truly care. And like I said, I've seen it first and foremost. So now when we dial back to the late Congressman Donald Payne, a lot of people loved him. He did a lot of amazing work. But of course, there's always the critics. So for the critics that say, we don't need somebody that's going to come in and do the same stuff he was doing, what would you say to those critics?
Well, I would say that it's not that I'm going to do the same stuff that he's doing. I'm innovative, and I'm a lot younger, and I'm a new face. And I have a lot of experience outside of politics, and being, I was homeless. I was a victim of a rape. I'm just like everyone else. And so the main thing is that I do the work. I go into the district. People talk to me. I speak to them even now. I think that's the main thing, and how I'm going to continue on his legacy. You know, some things I'm going to maintain that his, and some things I'm going to create as new. You know, but as I mentioned, I'm innovative, so I think, you know, they'll just have to see.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me ask this real quick. So, you know, I don't know every specific thing, so this is a little broad brush, but looking at some of the issues, you know, and I look at some of the issues in the past that Newark has dealt with, you know, even before Ras Baraka became the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. I remember because I would get calls from Newark, New Jersey, from NAVAC, telling me what was going on in the community of shootings, police brutality, things like that. And I would also get it mostly out of Brooklyn from my man, Tony Herbert, who's working now. He's running for office, but he's part of the Adams administration, Mayor Eric Adams, a New York City mayor of New York, for those across the country. But I look at some of the issues that is still fighting in Newark, but I've seen improve. I've seen the crime rate come down. I've seen police brutality. I've seen some of the things that have been implemented, dealing with when you have some people that have mental issues when the police are called. So now you have social workers that might accompany the police on those type of calls. Gentrification and homelessness is also a big situation. So my question is, how do you deal with gentrification in your district? If it, you know, and again, this is not just federal, but it's also, you know, state and city. But how do you deal with gentrification and the homelessness from the federal level to help the folks in your district deal with this? Because you want business to come in, but we don't want the folks that have been there for years to be pushed out of their community. But we also know that rents are on the increase and homelessness has been a huge problem in New Jersey. So how would you address the gentrification piece and also the homelessness, as well as attracting businesses to make sure that you keep your district as a working district for the community, but working for the people that's part of the community and making sure that these rents don't go sky high? Because I remember Charles Barron talked about the AMI of his district. He didn't take the AMI of New York City, because the AMI of New York City and Manhattan and this, that, and other is higher than his East New York district. So how do you deal with those issues there in your community?
So in regards to gentrification, I've experienced it in various, my mother's old neighborhood and my father's old neighborhood. A lot has changed. And the main thing is educating the community, right? And so a lot of times there's various programs that they're not aware of, as well as training programs to educate them, in regards to how they can become financial literate in regards to saving their money or even purchasing properties. Like, I commend Mayor Baraka, because he actually, for Newark, he actually provided that. He's helping people that that are under, low income or whatever, to purchase homes. So I think helping those community members, or helping the state with funding to help those with the training, I think that's key, right? So gentrification, more so in regards to meeting people. I mean, everything evolves, but the main thing is in regards to getting these people, because a lot of them are losing their homes for something that might be minute that they didn't even know. Like, when I was working in the office, we had various individuals, especially the older individuals, were losing their homes because they weren't paying their taxes, or there was some type of lien, or people were deed theft issues. These are key things that if we educate the community on, a lot of them won't lose the property. In regards to the rent per se, as I mentioned, there are programs that we're going to help people with, with economics. Google right now has a program where they're offering where you can make $70,000 a year, right? And so for the average individual in Newark, if it's a 2-family home, they're not making a lot of money, together. And I think providing resources and beneficial training opportunities will have them, scale up in regards to income, to increase their income for their family. And I think that is also key. And what was the next question? I'm sorry. The next question.
Well, it was about, you kind of covered it, not because somebody put reparations, about the whole thing, but that's a good question. You answered everything, but since somebody put that there, what is your position on reparations?
we definitely need it. I mean, I think, that's part of why my husband and I started March for Equity, because, my key issue here is social equitable opportunities. And that includes reparations. I mean, we all know historically, we deserve it. I mean,
Right.
realistically, we deserve it. Every other race has gotten it, except us. So I'm definitely here for that. And I will definitely be fighting for that too.
Sounds good. Those are
Sister-
solid answers. I appreciate that, Sister Shana.
So-
Thank you. And you that's. And will there be a debate real quick, or is there set for a debate? And if there is going to be a debate, what is the criteria? Because I don't know if there will be 11 candidates, at one debate. Is there a scheduled debate, or is there one going to be scheduled? And what is the qualifications to be part of that debate?
Well, I'm open to any debate with any candidate. I haven't been approached as of yet, but I'm sure we're going to have one soon, and we'll let Jackie know when it's scheduled for sure.
Gotcha.
So that your
And I
listeners can tune in.
And I just want to say that also, I failed to mention that Larry Ham, Lawrence Ham, he's a candidate as a Democratic candidate for New Jersey senator out there. He's also part of my Open Line online program. So I don't know if you know him. Do you know Larry Ham? Okay, but he's out there. He's an activist. He heads up the People's Organization for Progress, also known as POP, out there. And your path are probably going to cross because he's on the campaign trail as well. And if we have you on the online show, you'll get a chance to meet him.
Great.
So
Thank
it's
you.
10 minutes past the hour. I know we've held you in here. I did hear you speak about a plethora of issues. I love what you're saying. I always tell people follow the money. That's what Joe Dupree says. Follow the money. When you follow the money and understand the money, you understand that we're talking minimum wage when we need to be talking about a living wage. There is a difference between a minimum and a living. You talked about holding on to property there in New Jersey. And what a lot of folks don't understand is the process of succession. A lot of us don't understand what happens when you die and you don't leave a living will, and how your property then winds up in a system that literally takes the property that you worked hard for and literally puts it back into commerce, where your own family has to fight for what you fought hard for them to have. We just have to have a better understanding. Somebody put in here education. I think we need to educate our people more on what's going on. And I see a person like you with what you and your husband have been doing and continue to do to advocate for the greater good of our community. And for that, I'll ring the bell and I applaud you again. Sister Jax, I know she can't stay forever, but I'll let you close her out. And thank you for coming on. And I pray the next time you come on, you will be the actual Congresswoman for the 10th Congressional District there in New Jersey. Thank you for coming on #Truth Be Told. Sister Jack,
That's right. Thank you so much, Sister Shana. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy, I called you Shana.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about our other post.
Bright yellow you got too tight around your head. That's my sister. I love my sister.
Yes. Well, I truly want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. Thank you so much for all of your honesty, all of your transparency about your past experiences. We don't, take it lightly. We respect you. We appreciate you. We love you. If there's any closing words you would like to say, let us know how we can support your campaign, how, we can find you on social media. Let us know.
So thank you guys for having me on. This was great. You guys are my first interview of several. So, I had to do that for you, Jackie. And I'll definitely be tuning in. So anybody that wants to follow me, for Instagram, it's at Milliest4 Congress, FOR Congress. Twitter or X, it's Mitter4, Milliest4 Congress. And Facebook is Milliest4 Congress. And, if you have a question for me, definitely DM me. We have a number that you can call as well. So I'm looking forward to this race, and I'm looking forward to anyone's support. Thank you so much. Oh,
Thank
and
you.
there's also a donation link. We're taking donations, as a politician. We need donations, $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever
That's
you can
right.
contribute, that would be great.
And if Raven could even put that in the chat, the links for the donation and the links for all of your social media so that our viewers could just go on and save it, screenshot it, whatever they have to do. But we need to make sure we support Miss Shana for all of her hard work and dedication to our community and to our country. So thank you so much, Shana, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, wait. Hold on, Shana. Wait. One more thing. Wait.
Yes.
Wait. You just mentioned something. All these good people that Shana knows, and you just dropped another name, Raven?
Oh.
Raven Washington. You hang out with some great people.
Thank you.
You hang out with some great people. That's a shout out to you, Raven. Yeah. But I had to give your sister Raven, she works hard out there too. You have to surround yourself with a tremendous team. And I commend you, and I wish you the best out there. I just had to drop Raven's name in here. I couldn't allow this to go off without dropping my sister's name.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Good
luck,
God bless
sister.
you guys, and hopefully
And tell Brett hello. Yes, and tell Brett hello.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's
How
how
you
go
letting
down,
me
Phil.
almost forget that, Jax?
I know, right?
Oh God, Raven will kill me.
Oh, that's sweet.
14 minutes past the hour. And yes, politics is in full bloom as the summer months begin to get in full effect. Next thing you know, we'll be going up for another presidential election. I know there was a lot of comments in the chat. I really liked how Ms. Shana just really said, look, she addressed New Jersey. And before you start addressing the Middle East, Darfur and everything, you got to clean up your own house. You got to clean up your own house, you know. And then I saw people in there, is she Democrat or Republican? I love a person who puts people over politics. She didn't emphasize a great deal of what party she was with. She just emphasized a great deal how she was going to help the people. And we need more people like that.
That's
Forget
right.
a party. Forget being about a party. I'm about the people.
You know, I think somebody. I think it was Eddie Bonnet that put this in there, but I logged off and I came back. I think it was him that said that present her with the question of what do she think is wrong with the Democratic Party. And see, that's the problem right there. It's not that we can't answer that. It's not that we can't answer that. But when you ask Republicans that, you may get 2 or maybe 3 Republicans that will speak out against Trump and speak out with the Republican Party. They are lockstep in their messaging. We as Democrats are so splintered and scattered that sometimes that's why our messaging is lost at times, because we're so scattered out there. It's not a wrong question, but we tend to do that. We tend to do that to the Democratic Party, and we tend to do that to Black people. We're held to a different standard. Oh, the Republican Party Donald Trump can clap at us, say whatever they want to say. Marjorie Taylor Greene can say that. But soon as Congresswoman Crockett claps back, or AOC claps back, well, the language she used, this, that, and other.
Oh.
You try to hold us to a different standard, like, you know, and that's why I keep saying that's that post-slavery damn slave syndrome that a lot of y'all hold on to, that you want to hold us to such a damn higher standard, but the other people can do whatever they want to do, and you just give them a damn pass.
That's right.
That's why we don't play your damn games, and that's why we come hard at you. That don't mean we can't commend you on some of the work that you do out there. I don't forget the good things that you do, but I don't play the crap game that you play out here with this nonsense and throw those crazy ass questions, because the Republicans don't allow y'all to do that or allow us to do that. So I'm not going to allow y'all to do that here. That's why I wouldn't even present her that question.
That's right. That's right. No,
Well, I had
great
to put
job.
I had to put a lovely picture up there to change the mood right quick.
Let Jax respond, please. Let her respond. I'm sorry, bro. We gotta get. I ain't changing no energy. We need to put a foot in some of these people's ass.
No, I
serious.
I agree with you, Brother Patine. I agree with you. And you're definitely on point. And I was going to piggyback off of what Joe was starting to say. So for those that are not familiar with Congressman Donald Payne, that picture that Joe just put up is a picture of Donald Payne and my daughter, Olivia. It was in Newark at the Health and Sustainable Wellness Village, an amazing event, that they put on down at the park. And my daughter was actually one of the keynote speakers that day under the guise of Dr. Olivia, Doctor in Training, speaking about the brain and health and body health. And she and Donald Payne had some great conversation that day. And he was talking to her actually even about his health issues at that time, because he did have diabetes and some other health concerns. And, he was telling Olivia how he drinks a little bit too much soda and has a little bit too many snacks. And so they laughed about it. They talked about it. But he, was letting her know, even as a child, the importance of, eating healthy and making good choices. So
and while we're at that subject, that's why it is important that we pay close attention to individuals we vote into office to legislate us, to legislate. Listen, many a times we pay no attention to politics and to elections because we have been, by the propaganda machine, told not to. And here's why. He who is in charge of your taxes, of your day-to-day of inflation, you just don't know how much individuals being in office can affect your day-to-day life. And because you have been told, oh, your vote don't count, oh, this, that, these, and the third, you begin to buy into it and believe it. When unfortunately, we need to pay close attention to what's going on in the political realm. And we need to start at an early age, teaching our children and identifying those in our community who are for us in our community, who can help us in our community, instead of us always having to, quote unquote, choose the lesser of two evils. We should have viable candidates that should be in place that can actually advocate and may win, where we can begin to get some of the agendas that we need to get set in place, because we have people in high places and we just don't have black faces in high places.
That's right. That's right.
Let me just read this two comments. So Douglas Guidry writes, Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go higher. And, there's times when we do that and there's times we don't. There's times we don't do that. I think that if I was President Obama and I'm giving the State of the Union and you said I lie, I shut this down for a minute. Who said that? Security, remove that person. Oh, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to play your game. Marjorie Taylor, you want to sit up there with a hat, a mega hat in there, and you don't supposed to wear that? Stop this pressing. Take that damn hat off or I'll have you removed. It's time for us to fight fire with fire. I'm tired of this. When they do it, it's okay. But then we put these cliche crap in here when it says that about us. When they throw us under the bus, then we got to get up, brush ourselves and say, well, that was okay. I'm still here. Bull crap. Then Eddie Bonnet said, that's a lie, bro. Ask Douglas how much I call out Republicans. I share the emails that I reach out to Republicans. I'm not asking him a damn thing. I'm going to go to your record on this damn show. How many times have you called out Republicans on this damn show? That's your record. I don't know what you do outside, but I'm not asking them that. I watch what you say on this show, and both of you brothers are good brothers and stand-up brothers. But don't ask me to ask somebody something where you present your true stripes on this show. I'm not the one that watered nothing down, fellas. I don't do it.
Oh, no. Well, that's not Patine that he ain't gonna water it down.
Let's be real about this. Let's be real about something. Had during the Trump presidency, one of the brothers or sisters of color walked inside that sacred chamber with a Black Power hat on, or a hat with a black fist. I'm just saying. Okay, we're talking
Black Lives Matter shirt. Black Lives Matter shirt.
We're going to compare apples to apples. We're going to talk about what I know about. The sergeant of arms has the right, if you walk in there with your head covered, to request your dismissal and removal through the direct, I believe it is the direct urging of the president. So if somebody had walked in there with a hat on with the Black Power fist, and Donald Trump would have said, hey, Sergeant of Arms, I need that person removed or their head garb removed,
Mhm.
they would have did it. And guess what? It would have been complete. Let's see who this is. Before I go to the phone line, there would have been a complete media blitz on Fox News about how disrespectful. Because remember when President Obama showed up in a tan suit, how
Thank you.
disrespectful.
Right.
So if we show up with a hat on in the sacred Senate chambers, how disrespectful. But Marjorie Taylor Greene puts on a MAGA hat and don't nobody say nothing. We're gonna go to the phone lines. Caller, you are live on hashtag Truth Be Told. Welcome. Give us your name, where you calling from, question or comment. Let's go.
Eddie Bonnet, Lafayette, Louisiana. Number one, Marjorie Taylor Greene was wrong for what she did, putting on the hat. We're gonna call that out for what it is. But I'm a bit upset with Brother Fatini. And the reason why I say it is because if there's a question that's asked from the people that have a question for a political candidate, I feel it's very wrong for you to even try to answer for that question. The question that asked, you're not going to be on the debate trail with the sister that's running for Congress. Just like I'm not on the debate trail with Donald Trump, I'm not on the debate trail with many people. These people are putting themselves in a position to run for these high offices, so they have to answer questions that matter to the people because they don't just represent a Democrat party. They don't just represent Republicans. These people represent we the people. So we have to really be in a position to give everybody an opportunity to call these people out. You answer for the sister whenever I ask the question about what do you believe about this? What do you believe about that? I feel as an American citizen, I have the right to ask that question. I don't have no poison in it. And I'm going to tell you one thing also. Congressman Clay Higgins in this area, I'm going to say this because I know what I do. I disagree with the way his rhetoric on police and police can do no wrong. I called him out many times on it. He runs on policies of pro-police and you can't say anything about police. I call those things out. He's a very strong Republican, but we can call those things out. The thing that I'm saying is whenever you get these people on, the question that you would ask a Republican, if that was a white Republican lady on the show today, you would not be that nice. And that's all I'm saying. Just do the right thing. I'm not trying to put the woman in the sister in a bad position. I'm happy for all that she's doing. And I wish her success if she's running. May the people vote for the person that's more qualified for the job. Because at the end of the day, if her congressional district chooses her, hey, kudos to her. I'm not against her, but the questions have to be asked. And I'm going to hang up now because I want to hear. I can't hear you.
Appreciate you. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling.
I'll respond. So, like I said, if again, I don't like to mute people's questions, but when you continue to put in the chat certain things, the Democratic Party, and we're catering to the Democratic Party, if your question was a little bit more specific in the sense of certain issues within it, you asked the question, what do you look at the Democratic Party? Here's a woman that's coming on to talk about her running as a candidate for a certain district. I know the politics of that area, and I know some of the issues that they're there. They're not going to ask her there on the debate stage, what do you feel is wrong with the Democratic Party? They're going to deal with the issues out there. So I looked at that as an antagonist question, and especially coming from folks that talk about supporting Donald Trump. That's how I looked at it. If I was wrong for that, fine. None of us read your comment, but I'm the one that called it out. So I get the heat, and that's cool. I'll deal with the heat. But again, I'm not going to do that to the sister. I even asked her, because I know the politics up here. I know that the mayor is supporting another candidate, but I still put it in a respectable way to her because she's coming on as a guest. I'm not going to make this woman feel uncomfortable. She's not coming into a Republican environment to get those antagonistic questions. So that's why I said it, and that's why I stand by what I said.
And let me defend my brother, and I want to say this to Brother Bonnet and anybody else. I highly disagree. If it was a white Republican candidate on here, which I'm pretty sure before this year is over, we're going to have a Caucasian Republican candidate on here. We're going to treat that candidate in the same manner we just treated this lady.
What was that, Joe? What was the Caucasian lady that came on that was running for a judge? Was she Democrat or Republican?
She was Republican.
Were we nice to her?
I thought we were.
Yeah, we were.
I thought we were.
Yeah, we were. We
Talking,
were nice.
talking out the side of your neck. Talking out the side of your neck.
So you can go back and look at that episode, and
Yes.
and since there's been the accusation made, go back and look at that prior episode.
What was your former boss? What is he?
He
Republican?
was Republican.
Did we treat him with respect?
Hold it. My former boss, hold it. Let me rephrase that because he hates when I say that. So let me respect his wishes.
Mm-hmm.
The former mayor president who appointed me to the position to work with him as the chief of minority affairs is a Republican. He is playfully called in this area Baby Trump.
How did we treat him? And then I had a personal interaction with him on Facebook. He didn't know who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I called him out on something. He said, Brother Fatine, you're correct. And when he came on, I gave him the respect for that. And he ended that string before we got a chance to meet face to face. He said, looking forward to having more dialogue and working together. So don't say things out the side of your neck on this program. That's why I didn't present it, because those are antagonistic things. And then you're going to come out, if it was a white Republican lady, we wouldn't have been as nice. Well, we had 2 Republicans, 1 female, 1 male, and we were nice and respectful to them. Again, calling out your lies.
And that door swung both ways. Not only were we respectful to them, them being Republicans, be very honest, they were very respectful to us.
Damn right.
So watch this. And you can't just broad brush every Democrat, every Republican. Guess what? I know some very good people who are a part of the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I know some very bad people who are a part of the Republican Party. I know some very good people who are Democrats. I know some Democrats that ain't worth the time of day. Period.
That's right. That's true.
So
That's true.
People are people. Their affiliation. See, too many times we put too much emphasis on the affiliation. A bad person is a bad person, regardless of their political affiliation.
That's right.
Regardless of their gender, regardless of how they identify themselves, regardless of what kind of uniform they put on. A bad person is a bad person. Why don't we start dealing with the behavior and not the affiliation? That's what I'm tired of. Y'all want to talk about affiliation? Hell, let's talk about the behavior. I am appalled of the behavior of Donald Trump, just like I am appalled of some behavior of some other folks I know who aren't Donald Trump, that are my friends, but they're still my friends. That doesn't mean behind closed doors I ain't going to say, hey, bruh, that was some BS you just did. Hey, sis, that was some BS you just did. I'm going to address the behavior, not the affiliation.
Yeah. And you know what, Joe? Sometimes behind closed doors, people know the behavior that they did was offensive, and they just like to say stuff or start stuff just to get a rise out of people. So they know better, but some people just have just an issue, with that. They just want to keep stuff going. So they'll just say whatever publicly, and then in private, they'll be like, yeah, I know. So it's funny, when I go to the chat, we have Brother Guidry says, you didn't respect me. So I think that's funny, Brother Guidry.
Yeah.
So he's always in the chat with us, popping.
Yeah, I ain't even addressing that. But I look at Joe Manchin. Senator Joe Manchin is a Democrat. He has held us back. Manchin, and what's the female? What's her name? Senator
Cinema.
Senator, she's a Democrat. Now she went independent. But when she was a Democrat, we called them out. You know how they held up legislation for us to get through? They were Democrat acting like Republican. They were conservative Democrats. We called their asses out every turn. And remember, on this show, we wasn't in that heat where we was trying to get legislation passed and the Senate to pass this, even though we had the Democratic control. Senator Manchin and what's her name again?
Cinema
held up that legislation, and we called them out. Called them out. See, that's what I'm saying. We're not lockstep. Joe and Jax, I'm gonna tell you, I hate to have to do this. I hate to do this because you tell us what we don't do. We do that. But when we dealing with a comparison or something, when you're going to put up Trump, I don't give a damn what you say. Trump's record don't hold jack crap to what Biden's is. It ain't no debate about it. It's facts. It's not my opinion. But we get into the debate over it. It's factual. I don't give a damn. I told you before, I voted for Republican. I voted for Mayor Bloomberg. I voted for Mayor Bloomberg, who is a Republican. I vote for the people that are going to do the work. I put it in the chat. Who's going to do the work for me and my community? Who's going to do what needs to be done and respect us? I voted against a Democrat because a Democrat showed his ass to us and didn't give our community the respect. But Michael Bloomberg did. Did I disagree with some of the things he did in his policies? Yes. But he was a better person to work with than some of the Democrats that we had to work with in the past. So don't come on here and say we're lockstep with the Democrats. I don't like to be broad brushed and painted. We deal with this particular issue at hand.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say this before I turn it over to Sister Jackson to give us a little bit of her spiritual conscience. First of all,
now, she can't quote the Bible today, brother. You see what's happening, man? Come on, man.
Understand.
My head ain't fully wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I got to wrap if I need it.
Yeah.
I stay ready.
Come on, Joe. Don't put on it. She trying to look cute. She trying to look cute today, brother.
Rap on site, players.
Yeah, good book. She got this good book. She got this good book put on the side today. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. So listen, family. Here's what I want. We've got to put people over politics. Listen to me. It's got to be people over politics. I appreciate this sister that just came on. I had not spoken to her, never had spoken to her, never met the lady. She answered my questions to the point where I had satisfaction that she could have went down one rabbit hole. She stuck with the people of the 10th Congressional District of New Jersey. We've got to have more people who do that. More people that when you're talking to them, they ain't talking about, man, we got to understand there are world issues that need to be resolved. But you can't clean up other folks' house when you ain't cleaned up your own. She stuck to the core issues of this is what I'm trying to do to help my constituents in my area that are suffering. Listen, family, if you got people out there that are trying to tell you this, that, these, and the third, and they ain't telling you what they're going to do to help your community, your household, and guess what? That literally does not lie really at a federal level. That lies more local than anything else. So many a times we get caught in this propaganda machine that says, watch this, watch that, do this, do that. But they never tell you what they're going to do for you. Mm-hmm. Hold it. Let me get a little Janet Jackson in here. What have you, politician, done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? That's the question. Go to your local official, go to your councilman and say, Councilman, I hear you talk all this noise, but what have you done for me and my household lately? Go to your local school board member and say, what legislation have you did to help me and my kids lately? Go to your mayor and say, what have you done to help me and my community lately? And if you come back with no answer of suffice, then it's time for you to find somebody to take their place.
You're right, Joe. And not only that, before we even go asking them questions, we need to check our own house first. You want to complain about your kids out there getting in trouble, but are you letting your kids stay out until 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and they're 13, 14, 15 years old?
Come on. What have you done?
What have you done before you come to somebody else?
And one thing I don't do is because I've had issues with some of the politics of New York City, not all the politicians, because there's some great politicians. I've been an ally of Charles Barron, and he's a former Black Panther. And when he was an activist, I worked with him. So when those brothers and sisters that were activists that got into office and they didn't compromise, I still stood with them. But I must say, we have some of the top Black officials in New York City. And one thing that Reverend Sharpton said is that we fought for that. But now that you're there, how are the people benefiting from this? And if the people are not benefited, he's saying it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame for what we fought for you to get into these positions. And if you're not dealing with, you go from the Attorney General, Letitia James is Black, the Speaker of the Senate, the Senate is Black, all the way down to the mayor of the city of New York. The Speaker of the New York City Council is Black. The New York Public Advocate is Black. Next in line, if something happens to the mayor of New York City, the next person in line is the New York Public Advocate, Jumaane Williams. He used to be a city councilman, activist out there, Black. Then the Speaker, Adrienne Adams, Black. But what I will say, and I'm not caught up on the Blackness, what I will say is I'm seeing something that I love. And I love what I seen with the New York City Council, similar mirroring some of the legislators in the House, is that when they lost control in the House and regained it, when they regained it, they lost it again. But those folks realized we got to do the people's business. The New York City Council, they don't care if the mayor is black or white. Adrian Adams done vetoed his butt twice and won. Vetoed him on police accountability because that's what the people wanted. And if the mayor was going to waffle and play politics with the police department over the community, Speaker Adrian Adams said, oh, hell no, we're not going to have that. I'll veto your bill and then have the votes and pass it. She did it twice. Twice, y'all. So that's where government is working for the people. And I stand up and give kudos, not because I'm a New Yorker, but because I see it working for the people. If Adrian Adams was white and Republican and doing the job for the people, I'll do the same damn thing. But I'm seeing government starting to work in some places for the people. I applaud it. And we have to not only applaud it, we have to spotlight it.
So let me say this, since we're speaking about Republicans who have did a thing that some folks are like, okay, what's going on here? But I want you to hear what this Republican said. And I had to go back and watch it 5 times and made sure I understood it correctly. So our Republican governor, Jeff Landry, just vetoed a bill that had to do with bringing in programming for nutritious foods and where nonprofits and government agencies could do certain things. And at first I was appalled. I was like, man, here we go again. But then I heard his justification. And after hearing his justification, I had to call a couple of people I know and make sure I heard it right and heard what I know I heard and say, is this really why he did it? And he was spot on. He said it wasn't so much the program he was vetoing. He's vetoing all this pie in the sky with no money backing it. Here you are talking about you're going to do these programs, but you have absolutely no funding for the program. I am a conservative progressive, and I agreed with what he said on that if you're going to put a program out there and brag about this is what the program's supposed to do, then make sure that program is properly funded. Because if not, all you're doing is putting pie in the sky. You're saying something to make folks feel good and fuzzy. Oh, we got this program, fresh fruit. We can eat good and all this. Where the money coming from? Where the money gonna come to fund this? Because he said, that's why I vetoed it. Y'all ain't got no money for this program. When you have money for the program, then I'll fund the program. But until then, you ain't gonna give this pie in the sky and just put legislation out there that's just out there with no backbone or no funding. And for that it came from a Republican, even though it sounded bad, and it made a lot of folks go, oh, I can't believe he's making it we can't eat good fruits and vegetables. Look at what he's doing. No, he's saying that if you ain't got the money for this program, why are you even talking about it?
And you know what,
got to start following the money.
That's great. And that's great to say that. And also another aspect of that is when the government does put programs, the funding into our community and puts programs, oftentimes we're not taking advantage of some of those programs like we should. And then as soon as the programs close down, and because there's no funding, there's no more funding because there's nobody going, or the government will give a bunch of money to, local nonprofits and other organizations, and sometimes of color, but our paperwork is not right. We're not keeping the records like we should. We're not reporting certain things like we should, providing, sign-in sheets and providing, minutes and, all the stuff that we need to provide. So now you lose the funding. So now you take shortcuts, hire the wrong people, sometimes just friends and family who are not qualified. Come on. Organizations. And then when it shuts down, then the community is like, oh, it's nowhere for the kids to go. Oh, there's nowhere for the seniors to go. Oh, there's no resources. Like there's no crossing guards. There's no after school programs. But when the money is there and the programs are there, we are not taking advantage of it. So we have to do better about seeing what's in the community.
So brother, go ahead, Joe.
Brother Barnett and brother Barnett, brother Gitry, and other brothers, and I'm about to highlight something that brother Gitry is doing that I really want to highlight coming up here very soon. Be exact, this is a good time before I come back to brother Fatim. Brother Fatim, I need you to say what you're going to say, but before you say it, let me say this: we gonna have a time. We gonna have a time, family. You think this conversation is going good right now? Ooh, wait till the 4th through the 7th of July. Down in New Orleans. We're going to be in the building. Yours truly, Brother Fatim. Sister Jackson may be showing up also. Hashtag Truth Be Told will be broadcasting live Thursday and Friday from the Essence Music Festival of Culture, the 30th anniversary. We're going to be in New Orleans. That's what I got to say about that. Brother Fatim, the floor is yours. Say what you need to say, brother.
So what I was going to say is that, we need somebody on from Landry's office about this, and we need some of the politicians on to talk about this here. Because you may, this is your politics in your area, and I heard what you said, and you said you supported the veto, and I just looking into it, I don't know enough. I just reading one story on it, and one of the stories says that he vetoed it, so it vetoes, but that doesn't stop. So it goes back to who was still funding the program. Right. So the new bill would have had to create the programming, and that would have been the problem. Is Joe saying if they didn't have the funding and the money, so what stays in place? But we need to talk about that and those that are affected by that. And it is the summer months now, school's out. I want to know for the people that are part of these programs, is the food getting to the people? We can bring on as many legislators, we can bring on many people from the office, but I want to talk to the people that need the food, and I want to hear from them in those communities, Joe. So you're down there, set it up. I'm a producer. I'll produce from any place, anywhere in this country. I'll get knee deep in it. I want to hear from the people that is affected, that need these programs. I want to know that these kids are getting the food. If they're not getting the food, then we bring on the politicians, and the politicians that veto and it's not working, shame on you. But if it is working right now and the food is there until they can get a better program implemented, I'm cool with it. But if the kids and the people are suffering, I'm going after the juggler of these politicians.
And that's what we got to do. We got to take it. We got the road show. So we're getting ready to take it that we're going to actually set up in people's communities. We're going to be broadcasting live from your community. And one of the things I want to do is go to one of these fresh fruit markets that they do. They have a mobile fresh fruit market. And I want to go there and see the people who come through. Is it the same people all the time that comes through? And how do we get better messaging to the masses? Because there's a lot of folks out there that need these products and services. And many a times what happens is these fresh fruit mobile markets go through areas and don't nobody know. You go to folks and say, did you know that there was a fresh fruit mobile market that came through? And they go, no, I didn't know about it. See, we got to stop doing this messaging that just is for a select group of folks. It's like these many folks know when this was supposed to help the masses, and the masses know absolutely nothing about it. We got to do better with the messaging. We got to do better with getting the information out to the people.
Is it, again, I can't knock that. I'm not going to add that. I just was thinking, again, New York City is really big. And I remember in a certain section of Brooklyn, all Brooklyn couldn't do this because it was part of, it was a program that because my late wife, girlfriend, Ginger, lived in a certain community, they had a farmer's market, not a farmer's market, excuse me. It was like a fresh market. I can't call the name of it. And how you could go and be part of it is you had to volunteer time there. You had to volunteer time there. You didn't get paid for volunteering how many hours that you did, but what you benefited from is that you was allowed to shop there.
That's right.
And so for my wife, we didn't live in that community, but since my wife's girlfriend lived in that community, she was able to bring my wife in. And my wife had to volunteer time. Oh, Fatim, I got to go up and volunteer because you dropped me off. I had to drop her off because she got good quality food. And guess what? In community, that was it. It was in a mixed neighborhood, but it was majority white. And again, we see that how they network. But again, we also see our communities that are so struggling and behind the 8 ball that we keep saying we need to do better, but it's hard to do better when we're struggling to just survive to the next day. Mm-hmm. It's hard. We don't have these things in our community. And how do we go about getting them? And you got to understand the politics and the resources that other communities have and how they benefit from that. Because if you go to a poverty-stricken area versus an area that has money, those people can pour resources in to that community right there.
Mhm.
Oh, Bob, could you write a check for so-and-so? I need $1,000. Oh, hold on, brother, $1,000.
Yeah.
I write a check. I come to Malik, man, I ain't got $10, so I get paid, bro.
Right.
You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's, and I'm not making a joke. This is the reality. So a lot of times we can't do better because we're surviving paycheck to paycheck while other people have more resources, not only in their pocket, but when their community is thriving, they get more resources in their community.
Come on.
And sometimes they don't even have to spend their personal money.
Yeah.
Talk to
And I
me
mean, and
now.
also
Talk
when
to
you look
me.
at with
Hold on.
taxes. Mhm.
Hold on, Sister Jax. Before
Right.
we go to you, we got a phone caller. Caller, you're live on hashtag Truth Be Told. Question or comment?
Comment. This is Eddie Barnett again, Lafayette, Louisiana. I want to first off apologize. I do accept the statement on the fact that you guys would ask the difficult questions, and you have been nice to the Republicans that have come on. But like I said, I apologize for that. I'm not. When I went back and thought, I understand that I made a bad statement on that. But however,
we all human. We make
I don't know,
mistakes.
however, it still stands on the fact that if a person like myself, even if I'm in the comment section, if I'm in City Hall, I'm in any area, it doesn't matter where it is, we should have the right as people to ask the questions to the people that's running for office.
Mhm.
Nobody else should be able to answer and have to answer for them. These are the people that's going to be in positions of power, that's going to be in charge with making decisions for our life. And I yield back to you guys.
All right.
And I appreciate that, Eddie. And I appreciate, because I'm the one that responded, and I appreciate that. And I accept your apology. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool because it's not belittling you. It's showing that you stand up and be a man, and that's respect. So I'm saying that as respect. And we do have to present the tough questions. But like he just said, he addressed it. I don't need to build on it no further. He presented it there, and that's how we move, you know.
So Luce, Eddie, I appreciate that. You know what? And I love seeing my brothers that call in on this show. We do have some brothers be in the chat talking junk, but you know what? When you guys call into the show, and it's just in jest many times, and it's just in fun, and it's just where everybody's passionate about what they believe in. But I love the humility that, you know, Brother Eddie has shown, Brother Guidry, Brother Fatim, Brother Joe. And that's something a lot of us, even as women, can learn, because I just love seeing how my brothers can apologize, you know, when they're wrong or they misspeak or they offended someone. At least the brothers that's calling into this show and a part of the show. And I just love you guys and I salute you guys. So thank you so much for your honesty.
Speaking of which, it is 9 minutes. 9 minutes to the top of the hour. I don't know what funny how time flies.
It does.
Fun. Lord have mercy. Hold it, as a friend of mine would say, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. You know what? Can I share a story real quick that I found?
Go ahead, sister.
So, okay, so there's this stingray, right? This is so random. There's this stingray at this aquarium in North Carolina. So the stingray is an aquarium. I think it's like Henderson, North Carolina, or Hendersonville or something like that. And Hendersonville Aquarium. And it is pregnant. So it is a female stingray, but there's no other male stingrays in the tank. It's only sharks and other little things floating around. So they're trying to figure out like what exactly is going on. So they realized that the stingray was pregnant in September, of 2023. And typically a stingray's gestation is about 4 months. But now it's like going on 8 months and the stingray has not given birth as of yet. So they're like, whoa, what is going on? But they did an ultrasound and the ultrasound showed that, the stingray is indeed pregnant with about 3 to 4, they call them pups, right? So the gestation is going on about 8 months now. So they're like, wait a minute, like we've never seen anything like this before. So did the stingray get impregnated by a male shark? Or is the stingray, is there asexual, reproduction where the stingray fertilizes its own eggs or whatever in creating, babies, So I just find that very interesting. So there is no due date on this particular stingray. So we'll have to keep an eye out. But they said nobody's ever seen of a stingray, with asexual reproduction. And some animals or whatever it's called will, reproduce like that to try to prevent their race of animals from becoming extinct. So it's quite interesting. So I would like to follow that story, and I'll share it with you guys. You might even see it online or somewhere, look into it. But it would be interesting to see what this stingray named Charlotte is actually what's going on.
So I want to comment on that real quick. So of course, KC says Immaculate Conception, and and people, yep. God is about to, man done screwed up so bad, he's about to hand it back over to the animals. The dinosaurs couldn't do it. Their arms were too short to box with God, so that's why the dinosaurs went away. So now he came with humans, and we're messing up. We're messing up. So now God says, you know what? I'm gonna give it back over to the creatures of the sea. Yeah. And then let them come on the land and run this here, because we can't get it. So y'all heard about reptilians. So the reptilians going to start running the world. But this is an interesting conversation, because there are some asexual creatures out there, animals out there that are able to impregnate themselves, or give them, make themselves pregnant and they don't get pregnant by opposite sex or a male. Yeah, and the question... Right. And a question came up a long time ago. You want to say that God, I'm giving it to the people that are religious now. You say that God is all knowing and God is almighty. And if you notice that we as human beings, we have adapt. We're like chameleons. We have adapt. And this question came up a long time ago. What happens if males stop ceasing on this planet? Then we would die off, because we look at that we need the male to female to reproduce, to have a child. My question is, since God is all powerful, can a human being one day be able to become asexual? And I say, if you believe in God, of course. We have adapted to a lot of things. I know your face. Look at your face, Jack. I understand what you're saying, because you look at scriptures and this, that, and other about the male and the female. The question is, can that happen? I don't know the answer right now. I would from scientific, no. But in the future, I can't tell you, because I don't know how this world got created, and I don't know how this world's going to end, and I don't know how we are going to. As we progress going forward, I don't know how it's going to happen. So right now, the answer is no. But in the future, when I'm not here and whatever is not here, and we flying around I don't know. Will we be able to fly one day? I don't know. Right now, hell no, we won't.
Yeah. A lot of it, Brother Fatin, a lot of us, we don't know. And it's not meant for us to know. But what we do know, the way that the world is going right about now, they're trying to make something like that happen. Whether it's politically, if you look into, you're saying about male, like what if one day there are no males, basically? Well, guess what? Don't look like they working on that right about now, because a lot of these young men walking around with pocketbooks and skinny jeans on, you know what I'm saying, and weaves down their back. So what is that eventually going to cause? Right? It's not going to be a whole bunch of, straight. I mean, even with the food that they're in, all the chemicals and things that they're putting in the food, all the chemicals that China is putting in the marijuana, all of that stuff, decreases the, testosterone and, the masculinity within a lot of men. So now we have a lot of effeminate young men walking around, the destruction of the home, with now a lot of these homes are raised by women, and now these boys growing up to be men, they have a lot of problems dealing with relationships, because they're dealing with relationships. Physically they look like a man, but emotionally they deal with a lot of issues like a woman, and then you have some men who raise little girls. Now some of these girls are more so going about life strong and masculine, almost like a man. Right. So it's so reversed and so crazy. But yes, politics has something to do with it. Our food sources have something to do with it. And that's why we always talk about potentially growing your own, food and fruits and vegetables, and eating from the earth and eating, differently, as opposed to all this processed stuff that we eat now, because it's changing our genetic makeup.
So let me stop you there, because this here, and I'm not pushing homosexuality, but let's have a serious question from this perspective on this before we end this show. We want to say you're born a male, you're a male. If you're born a female, you're born a female. What if you're born? See, this is where it gets tricky, y'all. This is where it gets tricky. So I can't tell you that a man that's sitting across from me tells me that I feel feminine. I feel like a woman. I can't tell that person what he feels.
Mhm.
I can look at him. What happens to the person that is born with both sex organs?
Mhm.
Who do they identify with? You see what I'm saying? We got to be careful because you're gonna give credence. Oh, well, since they're born with two sex organs, they have to identify. But is it the sex organ or is it something else that we identify as male and female? Is it our label of the sex organ? See, we want to, again, I don't want to push you there, Jackson, the scripture, but the scripture doesn't address that part. What happens with a person born with a male organ and a female organ? They're out there. It is happening. Which side do they identify? And is it because of the sex organ or their internal, how they feel as a person? That's number one. And then on the spiritual side, if you're talking about a spirit coming into your body, does a spirit have a gender? And is it down to the physical part? See, we got to be careful of how we do things. Now, if you come from a scripture that talks about homosexuality, I got that. But on the scientific side, what do you say to a person that is born with, yeah, I know she's going to the scriptures, but what do you say to the person that is born with two sex organs? Who do they identify with? And is it right or wrong who they identify with?
Hold on. Hold on. It is actually 1 minute to the top of the hour. And what I would like to do is, this is a good one that we need to start this off with. Turn Up Thursday, turn down for what? We need to start this off for that. You can go ahead and derobe yourself, my sister, and go back to your regular self. But she came through like she was Zorro. Like, so hold on. With that being said, let's do this. Come on, family. If I didn't have things to do, we would keep it rolling. But tomorrow for Turn Up Thursday, turn down for what? We started off with this. We started off where we finished off today. Somebody said, finish him. You came in like you on Mortal Kombat. When the finish move, doom, doom, doom. Finish him.
Can't finish me, Eddie, because you can't answer the question when somebody's born with two sex organs, the male and a female. You cannot tell me that, and you say God is all and is never wrong and never makes a mistake. What identity do they identify with? And is it to the point that a male being a man, is it identified just with a sex organ, or is there something else that they identify with? We put our feelings on these things, and Sister Jackson have a chance to respond tomorrow. We never looked at it from a scientific point of view. We've never brought it up from that point of view of a person born with two sex organs, and who do they identify with? Some people decide to choose one, and they take care of one. Some do not decide because they feel that's how they were born and that's God's makeup. They keep both sex organs. You understand what I'm saying? So that's something that we can talk about tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we have Lady Zorro with us tomorrow.
That's right. And tomorrow I'll actually be at a men's conference with a bunch of young teens. My husband is doing this amazing workshop that I'll be there supporting him with, what to do when being stopped by the police. So I'll be on scene, and but look, I can't wait to have this conversation. I cannot wait. I'll make sure I'm wrapped up all the way.
Yeah, and we got a guest tomorrow. We have another guest tomorrow, right?
Yes, we do. Yep. We have another guest tomorrow, and she is going to give us some phenomenal information about LLCs and starting an LLC, and about business and some other amazing tips. So make sure you tune in, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to start your LLC, you don't know how, you need some tips and strategies. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we look forward to seeing you then. God bless everyone, and have a wonderful day.
All right, come on, Brother Fatim, give me some closing remarks, brother.
Well, let me first say thank you for those that personally reached out to me yesterday, make sure I was okay. I thank you for that. I believe it's Brother Eddie Bonnet that reached out yesterday just to make sure everything was going good. And our folks out here, how I roll, with Brother Eddie Bonnet. So appreciate that. Great spirited conversation. Thank our guest, Sister Shana, for coming on today. Thank you, Jax, for facilitating that. setting up that interview with us. I appreciate all the comments in there. And again, to my brother that called, Brother Eddie that called in, it comes times where you stand up and say, hey, I didn't mean it like this or so-and-so, and I give you that respect. And it's not about me, one up for me. It's not that, because I would be a pompous end if I did that, because it's times when I got to humble myself and say, you know, I was wrong on that, because you know I go hard, y'all. And it's hard for me to come back, but it's not hard for me to come back, because if I'm wrong, I want to make sure the record is straight and I can be a responsible man. So thank you, Brother Eddie, for standing up. And I leave it there. I'll leave it there. It shows that if we need to be better, we need to stand up. And thank you, Brother Eddie Bonnet, for being that example today. Thank you.
Okay. All right, family. Well, let me say this. Had to put this out there. Listen, there's going to be the first annual Juneteenth pageant. You see the information on the screen. It is on my Facebook page. You can follow me on Facebook at Joe Dupree Anderson. You can definitely follow this show at the JDMS on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. You can also at 100 BLK Media. You can go back and see all our past episodes and know what is coming up with hashtag Truth Be Told. So I put that out there because Juneteenth is the next holiday coming up with Father's Day. We're going to have conversation about all that good stuff. And family, listen, be better today than you were yesterday, and do something today for somebody somewhere that there's no earthly way that they can pay you back. And always remember, please always remember that there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. Family, better days are coming. How do I know better days are coming? Because we are going to help usher the better days in. Y'all have a blessed day. We'll see you tomorrow. It will be the 30th of May. Turn up Thursday, turn down for what? And we're going to do it again. Another episode of hashtag Truth Be Told. We up out of here. Peace.
I was born by the river in a little tent. And oh, just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to the movies and I go downtown. But somebody keeps telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Yes, sir. So now I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But somehow he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there were times I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Yes, it will. Oh, I know a change gonna come. I said I know